Well, it's just under 8 weeks before we go to the polling booths for the general election, maybe a little bit earlier for advanced voting. And there is a new voter guide that has just been released. Let's check it out. So I have in my hands here the copy of Value Your Vote. It's Family First's resource. A lot of you have been saying, where is it? When is it coming? It's our 6th edition and really important resource for you to read. And so I thought for today's McBLOG, we would just show you the promo video, which explains basically why we put together Value Your Vote, what it shows and the reasoning behind it. So let's watch that, and then I'll just make a couple of comments at the end. So this is the promo for Value Your Vote 2023. Welcome to Value Your Vote 2023. This is the 6th election for which we have provided this popular, family-focused voting resource. We believe that the cost of living crisis, declining education standards and health services, increasing levels of violent crime and lawlessness, and concerns about the economy are all significant. But focusing on these issues while ignoring important societal and moral values will actually make society's present problems worse in the long term, not better. Research overwhelmingly concludes that the strength of marriage and family, along with respect for life and the protection of our most vulnerable, has a major impact on the strength of a nation, lowering the rates of child poverty, domestic violence, child abuse, crime, imprisonment, and the costs of welfare, and improving mental health and overall well-being, producing an ordered civil society. Over the past 2 decades, there have been a number of law changes voted on by our politicians which have specifically impacted the moral fabric of Aotearoa New Zealand. Marriage has been increasingly devalued, along with the vital role of parents. The respect for life, especially for our unborn children and vulnerable elderly, has never been more at risk. A new cultural religion has been forced down on families, and the values which have underpinned our country for centuries are slowly but surely being eroded. Currently, apart from a handful of MPs, the House of Representatives has failed to represent the voice of social conservatives. Parliament has gradually become more and more socially liberal, even amongst the so-called centre-right parties. A parliament which unanimously votes to allow gender on a birth certificate to be based on self-identity rather than biological history proves just how liberal the institution has become. Ironically, political leaders who can't even define what a woman is, a simple biological fact, then want to censor disinformation and misinformation online. New Zealand desperately needs more social conservative voices. We need politicians in Parliament who will speak boldly and unapologetically for the unborn child, who will oppose radical sexuality and gender ideology, divisive critical theory, and climate alarmism targeted at young children, and protect vulnerable young people from the chemicalisation and castration of their healthy bodies. We need political leaders who will promote and protect the institution of marriage, who will respect the role of parents rather than attempt to exclude them from important issues such as abortion and gender dysphoria. Politicians who will protect the elderly and vulnerable from seeing assisted suicide as a solution. We need political leaders who will seek to protect our communities from drug use and normalisation. We need political parties which will respect freedom of conscience for New Zealanders who oppose compulsory vaccination and other health-related mandates. We need parties which will protect freedom, religious freedom and free speech, amongst others. Here's a fundamental point we believe you must consider as you prepare to vote. If a political candidate will not recognise the inherent right to life of an unborn human being, and if they cannot accept the biological reality of a person's sex at birth, why would we trust them with the many other important issues on which they will have to make decisions affecting the nation? We believe biological truth and the right to life are foundational issues. Every other issue, housing, poverty, cost of living, mental health, education, care of the elderly and vulnerable, they all rest on being alive first of all, and on the reality of being created male and female. We must elect leaders willing to protect life and truth. Value Your Vote allows you to see how each current or past MP seeking re-election has voted on important social issues. Many of them are conscience votes, allowing an MP to vote according to his or her conscience rather than along party lines. However, in many cases, there seems to be a party conscience. Each party leader, including most of the minor parties, has also been sent a questionnaire asking for his or her opinion on a number of important social issues. In some cases, they've sadly refused to answer the survey, and we have recorded their responses based on voting records or public statements. Voting according to our values is the greatest freedom and privilege we have. We should value it and use it. Now, please note, Family First does not endorse or oppose candidates or parties for elective office. This record should not take the place of your own effort to evaluate parties and candidates. We would encourage all voters to make informed decisions on party policies across key issues important to you. But we're pleased to offer this guide as a helpful resource to aid you in making an informed decision when you vote this October. Yeah, well, there we go. So we've got lots of copies of these. In fact, we've done an initial print run of 50,000 and we may need more. And you can go to our website and you can preview the document, have a read of it, and then you can also make orders. And we're keen to get it out to as many community groups and church groups as possible. And look, a couple of questions that I often get asked. Firstly, why are there electorates missing from the voting record? Well, that's because the sitting MP is either retiring or isn't coming back to Parliament. So we've only recorded those who are seeking re-election. The second question is, why haven't we asked other candidates? Well, over the past elections, we've sent out questionnaires, but most candidates simply ignore them. They don't want to answer some of the tricky questions that we ask. And so often we have to go on public record. So this is basically current sitting MPs and how have they voted. But we have gone off to all the political party leaders and asked their opinion. Now, some of them didn't respond, and we were able to go on public comment, especially, for example, the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition. They didn't respond, but there was lots of voting record and public comments that we could base it on. But most of the other parties, including the minor parties, have responded. If there is no column for that party that you're looking for, that's because they didn't respond. And so this can be downloaded from our website. We'd encourage you to read it. And, you know, there's some amazing information. We even asked that really tricky question to all the party political leaders: what is a woman? Some get 100%, some don't quite. And don't forget to check out the website, because it's a fantastic website that's been built, very interactive, and you can basically find your local MP if they are seeking re-election. You can check out the party leaders. There's a sliding rating scale on how family friendly they are. And there's also explanation of all the issues that we're asking about. So there is the website to go to, valueyourvote.nz. Go there now, have a look at it, check out the website, download the pamphlet, and then order some. Get in quick, because there's just less than 8 weeks to go. It's time to value your vote and vote for people and political leaders who share your values.